We made it to episode 17 of Random Talk. Yes! So today, we're going to talk about alarm activated. I know you're probably wondering, what in the world does she mean? Now, what I mean by alarm activated, you know you have your security systems at your home because you want to be notified. You want to hear that alarm if someone is trying to break in and steal your items out of your home. Then you have alarm systems on your cars because you want to know if somebody's trying to steal your car. So I say alarm activated because I feel we need to do that in our lives for ourselves. We need to set an alarm. Why? Because we have some people out here in the world that are called volunteer victims. Let me explain to you what I'm talking about. So in the previous Random Talk, I was telling you about the people that I have a crush on for my motivational speakers. And it was, one of them was Lesbrown. And I heard in one of his motivational speeches, and he said, volunteer victims. Now, my Random Talk today is not based on what he talked about in his motivational thing, but it was more so today is because that volunteer victim, it just resonated in my spirit because I know a lot of those people. Volunteer victims. Let me give you some examples. But before I do, you set that alarm because I want your alarm to go off and say, I know somebody like that. And see, when you get to that point that you are mindful of those people, you better run. Set that alarm system so you can know I do not need to stay in this area because it is going to drain me and waste my time. So now, real life examples. Volunteer victims. You have the people that want a better job. Now, this is from my life always. People that want a better job and they call me up, they send me a message, they may email my work email. I want this better job and I can't get it because I don't have a resume. Oh, really? Okay. Let me give you a solution to your problem. I will do a resume for you. Oh, I don't have the money. Now, that doesn't always work for me because I know that people find money to do what they want to do with, but in certain situations, I will volunteer my services. And so in a few of these situations, I have volunteered and created a resume for them. You want to know what happened next? Now I need a cover letter. They told me I can't do it without the cover letter. Okay, let me get you a cover letter because see, in my world that I live in this head of mine, where there is a problem, there is a solution. And I'm always for trying to support people so that they can do better in this life if they really want to do better. Then once I have narrowed down everything that they have complained about and they have nothing left, then it's just, well, I don't think I can do this. Alarm system. My alarm system goes off. That's a volunteer victim because it's like now you have nothing else to complain about. You have nothing else to say why you can't do it except that I just don't think I can do it. Well, now I got to walk away. I have to leave you to yourself on that because I can't make you want it as bad as I want it for you. So that's a volunteer victim. Now, let's talk about the other topic. This may be where people don't like it, but look, a lot of people like me or they hate me. It's no in between because I'm just honest, I'm truthful, and sometimes people don't like that truth. That's why a lot of the people in my family do not like me. That's just real talk because I'm truthful. So right now you have the people that are in relationships or friendships because friendships to me are just the same as relationships because you have to do, understanding, listening. But you have people that are in their relationships and they are unhappy, they are miserable, and they say, I want to leave, but I can't leave. Okay, why can't you leave? Because see, I never tell people what to do because it's not my job to tell you what to do, but I can give you examples. I can give you my real life experiences and I can give you suggestions to see what might, relate to your situation to make you think about things in a different way. So they want to leave their situation, but they say, well, the rent is too high other places. Okay, well, you must not want to leave bad enough because we know things are expensive now, but baby, when it comes to my peace, there's no price tag on that thing. Then they say, well, it's the kids. Now, I get it. With women, that's a very sensitive thing because sometimes women have little babies and it's not necessarily they're staying for the father to be in the child's life because that can happen whether you're in the home or not. But a lot of times women get stuck and they become trapped because they feel like I have to be mindful of my children. So I'm going to tell you, ladies, if you are in that situation, you can be mindful of your children, but you still come up with a plan. Always have that plan B. But when you start giving people resources, because I know when I was growing up, a lot of things were lacked and missed out on because I didn't have the resources and people didn't want to give me the resources. They didn't want to tell me what to do. So when I give people their resources, when I give them a real life situation, and when I try to just talk them through it and hear them out, I'm not telling them what to do, but I'm helping helping them to work through why they can leave or how they can leave. And then they still say, well, no, I just can't leave. Alarm system, volunteer victim, because where there is a problem, there is a solution. Now, you may not be able to leave right then, but most of those people, you're going to look in 5 years down the line, they're still going to be sitting there telling you why they are unhappy, why they can't leave. So then imagine if you had wasted your time for 5 years. Now, that's another example of volunteer victim. And when we need to put those alarm systems on so that siren can go off in our heads and we can just go on our way. Now, let me do what I do best. Real life example, because I can never tell a person what they should do, or I can't suggest what they should do if I have not been in your shoes. That's what my mother taught me, and it has led me to where I am right now. People respect me for it because if I can't relate to you, I can just be empathetic and listen to what you're telling me. But if I can relate to your situation, then I can give you a time when I was in that situation. That's what I'm about to do right now. So I was in a situation, for those of you that already know, abusive. My home, my life, I didn't like it. I couldn't stand it. I was stressed out with it because my father was controlling. He was abusive, and he just felt like he could treat people how he wanted to. And in his mind, that was okay with him. But see, the way that I'm created, I have to tell people, I think I was born in the wrong time, because Rosa Parks and I, we share the same birthday, February 4th. So I think a lot of that is all in this spirit of mine, because you're not about to talk to me any kind of way. So as I was living in that household, it just was not good in my spirit. I asked, I did it the right way. I asked, can I leave? No one wanted to let me leave. So guess what I did at 15? I started coming up with a solution, and I said, I'm leaving this house. So I began to, look at the items that I had for myself, and I sold my items. For those of you that know what a pawn shop is, I went to pawn shops and I pawned my items that belonged to me, not anyone else, because I knew I was going to need money if I was going to leave. Now, when I say leave, I'm not choosing to leave and say I'm trying to go find an apartment. I was choosing to be homeless. That is how bad I was ready to get out of that house. I was ready to be able to be in charge of my own safety. I was ready to have a peace of mind. Now, think about that thing. If I, at 16, made the choice to leave home and choose to be homeless, to be able to make changes in my life for what I knew was right because I wanted something better. It was more peaceful to me to sleep on a bench in a park than to sleep in my own home with someone who just wake up and decide that they want to be abusive to you and the other people in your home. Now, that's just my real talk. So that is what I chose to do. So when I listen to people talking to me, I know what a volunteer victim is because I've experienced them. I'm all about a solution. I have to find a solution to the problem, because if we sit and we stay stuck in everything that's wrong, you will never be able to get out of that thing. So I just want you to be aware of volunteer victims. And I chose not to be a volunteer victim. I got tired of crying about, oh, he's abusive to me. I got tired of crying about they don't respect me, they don't hear me. I was tired of being stressed out. So I chose not to be a victim, and I was a child. So if I could make that choice as a teenager, then I know these adults out here, you have to do better. Stop whining. Stop complaining about what you don't like about your life. You cannot be a volunteer victim. Where there is a problem, there is a solution. Will the solution always be easy? Will it always be comfortable? No. Was it comfortable for me to be walking around in the streets trying to find somewhere to lay my head? No. Was it comfortable for me to have the few dollars I had in my pocket and try to make that stretch? No, it was not, but it was needed. It was worth it, because a peace of mind is priceless. So that is what this random talk is about. Be mindful of volunteer victims. Now tell me, after hearing this, can you think of people that you have tried to help that are truly those volunteer victims? Now there are people and there are times in this life where we are a victim. I was a victim of abuse. I was a victim of neglect, but I still chose how to get myself out of that situation. It was something that lived and breathed inside of me. So when I hear people complaining about their situations, but they're not putting things into action because you want want it to be easy. And sometimes what we want the most will not be easy for us to have. So everyone, be mindful of the volunteer victims. It took me a long time to let that alarm system go off, but you better upgrade that alarm system that you have in this mind of yours and make sure that you let it go off whenever you hear a volunteer victim. That's what this random talk is about. I just want everyone to take from it, because people will drain you, because sometimes people don't want to put the work in with what they want to receive from their lives. And that's what this random talk was about. I hope it is helpful to everyone. Be mindful. Set that alarm system every day, just like you do for your home and your car. Set that alarm system on in the inside of you, and do not get trapped or caught up into the volunteer victims. Make sure that you tune in next time for the next random talk. If you have not subscribed to Novelty Woman Speaks, I want you to do that. Why? So you can get the notifications, because YouTube will let you know every time I post something. And it's not just random talk that posts to this platform. It is random talk, Tuesday testimonies, and it is the testimony recaps, and you get some motivational videos. So make sure you subscribe to Novelty Woman Speaks, and you are free to click like if you like this video. But stay tuned for the next random talk.